launch a combo. Head to Port of Subs and add chips and a drink for just $2. Offer available for a limited time only. Visit portofsubs.com or order on our app.
Slice fresh sandwiches, Port of Subs.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help that often requires only simple maintenance. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door Service. Don't wait until a simple garage door repair becomes a major problem. We fix garage doors fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Replacing the bottom rubber on your garage door can have a huge impact on the number of bugs you see in your garage and in your home. Call A1 Garage today and receive the best service, best parts, and best warranty in the industry.
A1 from day one.
Neon City Festival takes over downtown Las Vegas with art, food, and free performances by Alice in Wonderland, Neon Trees, Russell Dickerson, Seven Lions, and more. November 22nd through the 24th. Visit neoncityfestival.com.
Unbelievable savings at Superstar Car Wash. Lock in unlimited car washes for just $15 a month with our Clean Plan. Available at any of our 51 Arizona locations or online. Visit superstarcarwash.com for details. Terms and conditions apply.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help that often requires only simple maintenance. However, if left untreated, could lead to costly repairs. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door Service. Don't wait until a simple garage door repair becomes a major problem. If your garage door is noisy, if bugs are getting in, or if it struggles to open, your garage door is in need of repair. From simple repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. We fix garage doors fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Our springs, rollers, and openers are tested by running them up and down, open and closed, all day, 24/7, so you can feel confident with every A1 garage door repair. Replacing the bottom rubber on your garage door can have a huge impact on the number of bugs you see in your garage and in your home. Keep those creepy crawlers outside by calling A1 Garage Door Service today and receive the best service, best parts, and best warranty in the industry.
A1Garage.com. A1 from day one.
Call today and take advantage of our $29.95 tune-up special.
It's the grand opening of Fulton Homes' newest master plan community, Acclaim. This beautiful community features open spaces, multiple parks, and a large aquatic center. Visit FultonHomes.com. Fulton Homes. You're proud to own. We're proud to build.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
A happy Tuesday to you. The lunch break. Chris Schubert here with you, KDUS AM 1060. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Hope everybody got to enjoy the college football on Saturday, the NFL action on Sunday. I would have loved to have participated with you in the conversation on Monday. And if you want to join the conversation here today on the show, because we have a lot to get into, a big Cardinals win last night, potentially saving their season. The World Series matchup is set. We will get into that here on the program. I would have loved to have done all of that with you yesterday because today, the Tuesday edition of the lunch break, was not supposed to be our first edition this week. I had a great show planned. We were going to go through what a Cardinals win would have looked like, what a Cardinals loss would have looked like. It was going to be a great show. Well, there were other things in the cards yesterday other than the Cardinals winning on Monday Night Football, because on my way to the beautiful studios, the beautiful offices here of KDUS AM 1060, got a flat tire. And the first person that I called is the voice that you hear now. That is producer Corey, because I called Corey and I said, listen, I don't think there's going to be a lunch break today because my whole day is going to be a lunch break because I'm going to have to get this tire taken care of. So driving into work, it was a beautiful Arizona day yesterday. The weather was nice. Really feels like we're turning a corner weather-wise. Was excited about recapping week 7, which I'm still going to do today regardless. I was very excited. And just all of a sudden, driving on the 10 yesterday morning, boom, tire explodes. And I've shown the picture to almost everybody in the building. Yeah. It was not a flat tire. It was not just, get some air. No. The tire was no more. So had to change a tire with the help of a friend on the side of I-10 and Ray Road yesterday, and then had to spend all of my day at the tire shop getting new tires put on my car. So that is why we did not have a show yesterday. Again, the plan was to start the week in with a great recap of week 7. And I had to call producer Corey and I said, hey, producer Corey, there's not going to be a show today. I'm going to need you to take care of some stuff because I'm not going to be into the building. And credit to producer Corey, he got everything taken care of for us. That phone call, when I call you, it's normally never a good thing.
No.
Because outside of doing the lunch break, I'm in charge of a lot of stuff here on the station. A lot of things have to roll through me. And if I'm not in the building, some stuff can't get done. So I, at 8:30 in the morning, called you. Never a good thing.
Because I saw like you're a little later than usual. I wondered, where was he? Then I saw the phone call like, oh, no.
Yeah, so when I call Corey, it's never normally just to catch up. There's normally something that's happening. He and I catch up in the morning every day. I stop by his production studio. We chat. We make sure that everything's good for the day. That's where we have our banter. If I'm calling him outside of being in the building, normally it's not great. And the same thing can be said the other way.
Absolutely.
On Friday night, I was hanging out at my house. The phone goes off and it's Corey. That's never a good thing. Got to take that phone call. Got to see what's going on. So if things happen outside of the confines of the four walls of this building, normally it's not a good thing. And I'm sure that was the thought that went through your mind yesterday when you get a call from me and I'm not in the building.
Exactly. Again, wondering where you were. And I just saw the phone call. I'm like, well, I'll at least get an answer.
Yeah, you'll know.
Hopefully safe.
You will know what was going on. So that was why there was no show yesterday, but we are back. Everything is okay. And without further ado, we've got a lot of football to unpack. So let's get in to the Daily Special.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
Clutch. Right down the middle. And Arizona grinds out a hard-earned physical victory over LA.
The Arizona Cardinals, victors on Monday Night Football. 17-15 over the Los Angeles Chargers. And I might have made a fool of myself last week on the program and on the internet because we put out some social content where I said this matchup was terrible for the Arizona Cardinals. I said that I did not see how they were going to be able to win this football game, how it just was not a good matchup. The strengths of the Chargers did not match up with the strengths of the Cardinals. It actually matched up with their weaknesses. This felt like a game that was going to get out of hand. It was one of the Schubert 6 selections on Friday, and we overall had a good week. We got our 6-pointer and our 5-pointer. So a good week overall. Could have been a fantastic week if the Chargers would have won last night, but for the Arizona Cardinals, a massive victory because they did what I thought was not going to be the case. If we were going to discuss yesterday on the show a path towards a Cardinals victory, it was going to involve some of the things that we had not seen from them a lot this season. It was going to involve them winning the turnover battle. It was going to involve them cleaning up the penalties and not hurting themselves with penalties. It was going to involve them playing a gritty style of defense that I wasn't sure they were going to be able to play for a full 4 quarters. That was going to be the recipe for a Cardinals victory on Monday night. And what the Cardinals did last night was they out-chargered the Chargers. And I didn't think that was possible. But when you win the turnover battle, when you are the team that rushes for close to 200 yards, Cardinals had 181 yards on the ground. The Chargers had 59. Again, which team was supposed to have the running game advantage? Which team had the defensive line that was supposed to be superior at stopping the run? It was flipped. The Cardinals outplayed and out-physicaled the Los Angeles Chargers. I did not think that was possible, mainly because of the injuries that this team had faced all throughout the year and that this team just didn't have the talent on the roster, I thought, to match up. And so when you get a performance like this, because look, Kyler Murray missed some stuff last night. They were not perfect. They had to kind of sneak their way out of this one, 17-15. But what I will give the Cardinals credit for is they were completely bought in as a team last night to the way their coach and their coaching staff wanted to play that football game. They were completely bought into this is going to be a physical. It is going to be ground and pound, and we have to win up front. And that is what the Cardinals did last night. Again, 181 yards on the ground rushing for the Cardinals, only 59 yards on the ground for the Chargers. And so what the Cardinals did last night was what we said that they needed to do in order to win this football game. Remember, we talked about if there was a weakness on this Chargers team right now, what would it be? And it was force them to pass the ball. Get them into advantageous situations for you defensively where they have to throw the ball down the field. Now, Will Dissly had a game, 8 catches for 81 yards, but they weren't able to get anybody else involved. It took a while for Ladd McConkey to get involved. It took a little bit for Josh Palmer to get involved. They really did a great job forcing the Chargers to be more of a pass-happy team. I don't think Jim Harbaugh wants Justin Herbert throwing the ball almost 40 times and only having 22 rushing attempts. That's not the recipe for Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers. Yet the Cardinals were able to dictate the flow of this game, and they were able to force the Chargers to play the way they wanted them to play. And to me, that is a credit to this coaching staff. That is a credit to these players buying into the message. To me, this win last night, more than anything else, and we will get into what is next after this win for the Cardinals throughout the show today. But what this win last night solidifies for me, this reestablished my belief in Jonathan Gannon as the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, because this was a coaching effort top to bottom. This was a messaging effort from the coaching staff. This was a scheme effort from the coaching staff, and it was complete and total buy-in by the players. And you don't get that type of buy-in from your team, who, by the way, suffered more injuries during the game last night. So with all the injuries that they've already had, they had a couple more stack up during this game. And yet the buy-in was there for this team to find a way to win. That shows me these players still believe in the message. These players still believe in their positional coaches. They still believe in their coordinators. They still believe in head coach Jonathan Gannon. That's what this win signals for me. There is still a belief in the message that is being sent by this team, and they responded in a massive way on national television against a team that is supposed to make noise in the AFC playoff race. That is a win that reestablishes what this team can do this year. There is a big difference between 2-5 and 3-4, especially with the way the NFC West is playing out. And so winning this game last night, the way that they did, by being physical, by being who they are as a team, James Conner running the football 19 times for over 100 yards, that is who they are as a football team. Now, I will tell you, they tried to give this game away. And I had already had it written down in my notebook. It was going to be the open to the show if it came back to bite them, because it almost did. But Drew Petzing got cute into the third quarter of this game, where on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, and it was like less than 1, but they didn't put inches up there. So it was 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. He went for back-to-back tush pushes, but not with Kyler Murray. He put Clayton Tune into the game, and they got stuffed on both attempts. And I thought right there they had lost the game. And I was ready to come in here and absolutely just destroy Drew Petzing for getting too cute. You have a running quarterback who can make plays. I know he's small, and I know that the tush push probably doesn't work with Kyler, but he is one of your best offensive players, and taking him off the field was just a complete disaster of a coaching decision. Now, it did not bite them. They were able to come back from that. And you saw on the touchdown that put this game ahead for the Cardinals, you saw why Kyler Murray should be on the field in those spots. Scrambles, gets out, and just takes off, and nobody can catch him when he's out in open space. And we didn't get the point like we did against the 49ers, but he was gone. Nobody was catching him. That's why he needs to be on the field in those spots, because you can then pull and move him outside the pocket. You don't have to just go QB sneak underneath. You don't have to go fullback dive. You put Kyler in there, there's an extra element. So to me, this win last night is a huge positive for the belief in the coaching staff. I think this reestablishes how we should feel about Jonathan Gannon, because this, to me, was a coaching win top to bottom. And the players went out there and they got it done. But to me, there was a clear message, a clear game plan that this team wanted to execute. And these players stepped up and delivered. And this defense gave themselves a chance in the fourth quarter to win the game. And they got it done. And they're now 3-4, and they have salvaged this season. And I think it puts a lot of stuff still on the table. It might have been the win to save the season. So what is next for the Arizona Cardinals? We'll get into that next here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Need social information about KDUS AM 1060? Try KDUS1060.com, at KDUS AM 1060 on Twitter, and Facebook.com/KDUS AM 1060.
Alexis and I watch lawyers get out there and say they're going to get you a fast, easy, serious injury settlement. And we're like, what? It'd be like going to your cardiologist and asking for a fast, easy triple bypass. Hi, I'm Mark Breyer.
And I'm Alexis Breyer. We're the husband and wife law team. Fast and easy settlement actually is less work for the lawyer and less money for the client.
And you know who promises you that? People don't want to get out there and fight for you when you need them. Do your research after a serious injury. Call the husband and wife law team first.
Don't let erectile dysfunction impact your performance. It's a common medical condition, and there's no shame in seeking help. Arizona Urology Specialist. Personal care for life's most personal issues. Visit ArizonaURO.com or call 602-887-2160.
Take advantage of thousands of dollars in SRP rebates and discounts on energy-efficient home upgrades like new air conditioning units, windows, ducts, and insulation. Save money on your energy bill while also making your home more comfortable. SRP's network of participating contractors can guide you from start to finish and maximize your savings by combining Inflation Reduction Act incentives with SRP rebates. Learn more at savewithsrp.com.
Not so lucky in Las Vegas. Escape to the largest 24-hour gaming resort in Laughlin, Nevada, where winners stay and play at Aquarius Casino Resort. On the banks of the scenic Colorado River, every stay at Aquarius is a winning experience with 15 Best Of awards. In hotel, gaming, and dining, our guests enjoy the beautiful Riverwalk, remarkably affordable room rates, and over $2 to $3 million in hand-paid jackpots each month. Will you be next? Book your stay at AquariusCasinoResort.com today.
Right now, during the grand opening of Escalante, Fulton Homes' beautiful master plan community in Surprise, you can purchase new homes from the mid-400s. Learn more about Fulton Homes Escalante at FultonHomes.com. Fulton Homes, you're proud to own, we're proud to build.
Your caddy, Ray Adams, takes you beyond the 18th hole on Saturday mornings with Great American Golf from 6 to 7 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
Welcome back to the lunch break. Chris Schubert here with you, KDUS AM 1060. You want to join the show? 602-260-1060 is the phone number. I'm sure you're feeling good after a Cardinals win. I'm sure you're excited about the Sun season starting. I'm sure there's plenty of thoughts on your mind. So if you want to join the conversation at any point, 602-260-1060 is the phone number for you to join the show. And we are going to be extremely focused today on the Cardinals and their win on Monday Night Football against the Chargers on a go-ahead field goal to win 17-15 and play a game I didn't think was in the cards for them, no pun intended. I did not think that they were going to be able to play the way the Chargers wanted to play. I didn't think their defense was going to be able to hold up, not like the Chargers are a team that blow other teams out and they run up the score. I just didn't think that the Cardinals would be able to keep the game close enough and be within one score for most of the game to where they could still play their style of football. Yet they were able to do so, and it wasn't pretty at times. There were missed opportunities all over the place, but at the end of the day, the Cardinals get out of town with a victory. They move to 3-4 on the season, and that begs the question of what is next for the Arizona Cardinals. And I tweeted last night, and you can always follow me on Twitter and interact with me at Chris Schubert _. But I tweeted after the game, that's a win that helps you reestablish belief in the coaching staff. The playoff race is back in play. And it's truly how I feel. There is a massive difference between how we would feel about this team. Close loss, blowout loss, however it would have felt. It would feel different if they lost and fell to 2-5. Than them winning last night the way they did, getting to 3-4. We would be having a conversation about the season being over. We would probably be asking questions about coaching changes needing to be made. The talks of being a seller would have come into play. All of those conversations would pop up when you're 2-5. You're not going anywhere at 2-5, right? I mean, look at the standings in the NFL right now and look at the teams that are 2-5 or worse. And you tell me if you have any belief in these teams doing anything. The 2-5 or worse teams in the NFC. The Saints, the Giants, and the Panthers. Does anybody believe that those three teams are going anywhere? No, the Saints have an injured quarterback. They're not going anywhere. The Giants, who knows if their coach and GM are going to be back next year, and the Panthers are a mess. In the AFC, 2-5 or worse. Raiders 2-5. Jets 2-5. Jags 2-5, Titans 1-5, Browns 1-6, Patriots 1-6. Those teams aren't going anywhere. There's a difference between being 3-4 and 2-5. And what got put on the table last night by winning that game and getting to 3-4, moving one step closer to being a 500 football team, is I think you have absolutely put the playoffs back in play. You have absolutely put a chance to be a playoff contender, to be on those graphics late in the season where you're playing meaningful football in December. This team didn't play meaningful football in December last year. This team was a team in transition last year, a team that needed to rebuild, and they're a team that is still in transition this year, but they're supposed to take a step forward. They're supposed to win more games than they did last year. And I think there are moments and pockets where we feel like they are going to reach those expectations. And last night, they played a style of football that was conducive to winning. They won the turnover battle. They ran the football the way they wanted to. They were able to play their style of football. They limited the penalties, only 3 penalties. That's the type of stuff they need to do on a regular basis if they are going to go on a run. But I think a run is possible because of what they showed me last night. And the other reason why a playoff race is back on the table, have you seen the state of the NFC West right now? The Seahawks are in first place at 4-3. You are 1 game back of them. You have the same record as the San Francisco 49ers, and you currently have the tiebreaker over them because you beat them earlier in the year. One of your 3 wins is against them. The other team in your division is the Rams, 2-4. And oh, by the way, let me just make sure that my stats are correct here. Yep, no, you beat them too. You haven't played the easiest part of your schedule yet if you're the Cardinals. I think that stretch is coming up here. You haven't played Seattle yet. You have 2 games against them. Everything is still in front of this team. Now, before the year, if you would have told me that the Cardinals could have competed for the NFC West, I would have laughed you out of the building. But context matters. The Seahawks are 4-3, and they've looked good, but they've also looked terrible. The 49ers are banged up. Brendan Ayuk out for the year. George Kittle dealing with an injury. Deebo Samuel has pneumonia. They don't know when he's going to be able to come back. This team is just, every so often, the 49ers have a year where the injury bug just hits them in a big way, and they don't meet the expectations that the outside NFL public has for them. This might be that year. So the division is on the table. Now, not because of you playing out of your mind, but because the division maybe isn't as strong as we thought it was going to be. I don't care. Division titles all count the same. Playoff berths all count the same. And that can absolutely be put on the table. You play the Dolphins in Miami next week. Tua should return to the lineup for the Dolphins, or at least is trending that way. You don't know what that team is going to look like in his first game back. You then play the Bears, who have been impressive. You play the Jets, who have not been impressive. And then you start a stretch where you play Seahawks, at Vikings, home against the Seahawks. So you have the next 3 weeks to try to maybe surprise again. Pick off a win or 2 against Dolphins, Bears, and Jets, and go into a series of games where you play the Seahawks twice and show that you belong. Show that you're a team that's going to be in this race in December. And after watching this team last night, I have no reason to think that they can't be in this race. They're around a 500 football team. If the breaks go their way, they can be above 500. If the breaks don't go their way, or they have self-inflicted mistakes, then they will be below 500. And guess what? They're 3-4, and a lot of their losses, you can point to self-inflicted mistakes that led to them getting blown out by the Packers, to them blowing a lead that they had in the first week of the season against the Bills. And so I know we did off the fence last week, and I said not a playoff team. But I'm putting it back on the table. I don't know if we're allowed to do that, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to put it back on the table for this team in 2024 because I'm the person who put out some social media content last week saying this matchup was terrible for the Cardinals. They are not going to win this football game. I made it one of my Schubert 6 selections where I picked the Chargers, giving the 2.5. So I'm the person that, to anybody that's listening, however you may be listening, I said into this microphone that I didn't think they could make the playoffs. I didn't think they were going to win this game, and I thought they were going to drop 2-5. Boy, was I wrong. This team impressed me last night. And again, it's not pretty. It was not the run and gun up and down the field, score 28 to 35 points that I think we should expect from this team when everything is operating correctly with the talent that they have offensively. It wasn't that. But they did something I didn't think was in their DNA. And that's winning the gritty ones. I think a lot of us thought if the Cardinals were going to win football games with a defense that was still coming along, that was still acquiring talent, that it was going to be a lot of high-scoring affairs. That they had the offense to score. They had the offense to put up 27 to 35 points a game. And if you get into those track meets with opposing teams, sometimes you'll win, sometimes you'll lose. But we believed that they could put up enough points to do that. What I didn't think this team could do was win that game last night. I didn't think they could be gritty. I didn't think they could out-physical another team. I certainly didn't think they could out-physical potentially the most physical team in the NFL from an identity perspective, from the way their coach wants them to play, from the way they have played this year. Not to say the Chargers are one of the best teams in football, but in terms of identity, the way that they play did not match up well. Yet the Cardinals didn't care that they didn't match up well. They went out there and they out-physicaled the Los Angeles Chargers. They showed that they were the team that had the better running game. They showed that they were the team that was better equipped to stop the run on that night. And so the recipe that we applied for the Chargers to beating the Cardinals flipped the script. They took what the Chargers were good at and they said, we're going to do it and we're going to do it better. And that is exactly what they did last night. That is a gritty, tough, culture-defining win, in my opinion. And so when you have a win like that, when you have a win that is counter to the identity that we have associated with you, when you have a win that is culture-defining the way I think that win was last night, that changes expectations. That changes the way we feel about a team. I feel that they can play against any team within reason and bring that grittiness, bring that toughness, bring their winning culture that they are starting to develop and be able to battle for 4 quarters. Now, what will show us if this is a long-term thing is the consistency in which they can do it. I don't want to say it's easy to do it once, but doing it once isn't a large enough sample size to believe everything has turned upside down. I think they are trending in the right direction after a win last night. I believe there's an opportunity in front of them to build off of this and to get us to buy in even more. I'll tell you this, Dolphins, Bears, Jets, the next 3, you find a way to go 2-1 in that stretch. You get to 5-5 after 10 games. I think there's going to be a lot of talk of, can this team make a run? Can this team stay in the mix? And again, the mark of success this year for the Cardinals should be playing meaningful football in December with playoff berths on the line. Doesn't mean they have to make the playoffs. Doesn't mean it would be a disappointment if they don't make the playoffs. I think we would be disappointed if they don't make the playoffs, if they were playing meaningful football in December. But playing meaningful football in December and learning how to win and learning how to compete in those environments would be great for the long-term health of this team. What fans, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, 602-260-1060, but I think fans, people like me who watch this team, I just want to see a team that is competitive late the season. That is the step in the right direction. To me, last night's win pushes us towards that end goal. Last night's gritty, tough, culture-defining win, I think, puts us on a path, puts us and gives the Cardinals a roadmap to playing those competitive games in December. And if they do that, I think we would have further belief in the head coach, further belief in the quarterback, further belief in the front office to give them another offseason to continue to add to this football team so that maybe next year is that huge next step to making a playoff run. And so maybe it's just surprise out of my voice because I didn't expect them to win last night that I am so the complete opposite from where I was last week. But I thought that was a defining moment of the season for the Cardinals last night with what they were able to do. Week 7 of the NFL in the books. We will do the Week 7 NFL Rewind, and we'll do it next here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Have you downloaded the KDUS AM 1060 skill for Alexa yet?
Dude. Alexa is frustrated. No matter how many times do you ask, the answer is male, chicken.
Once you're ready, say Alexa, open KDUS AM 1060 to listen to your favorite shows.
By now, you've heard all of our ads. America's largest injury law firm. But what does that really mean for our clients, for you? It means that when you hire us, you don't just get a lawyer, you get a legal army, almost 800 lawyers alone. That army includes an entire legal team, specialist lawyers, investigators, and a 24/7 client satisfaction staff. Just like if you were going into surgery, you wouldn't trust one person to handle the paperwork, the scheduling, the anesthesia, and the surgery. Have you ever seen a surgeon operating alone and without resources? No way. Why would you trust a small firm with your case? Your case is a big deal to us. When it comes to law, size matters. We're America's largest injury law firm, Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near
Real Stories with Hellsberg.
I had the ring already. She had made it very clear what kind of ring she wanted.
Yep.
I pretended that I was going to kneel and picked up a pine cone instead of pulling out a ring.
What a jerk. But when I saw that ring, I was like, oh, he did good.
I really love Amy. I really, really genuinely love Amy.
I love you too.
At Hellsberg, find the engagement ring worthy of your story. Designed with the love, care, and craft it deserves. Visit a Hellsberg store or hellsberg.com.
The Mitsubishi Year in Sales event is going on now at Scottsdale Mitsubishi. Right now, receive 0.99% APR for up to 60 months and 90 days no payment on a brand new 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander.
The name to remember? Scottsdale Mitsubishi? Scottsdale Mitsubishi, another Mark Auto Group dealership.
Hey, basketball fans, Tom Chambers here reminding you that just like in a game, you need a solid defense for your home. And that starts with a reliable roof from Right Way Roofing. Hey, Lori, as owner of Right Way Roofing, what sets you apart from the competition?
Our team tackles any roofing challenge from shingles to tile to foam roofing. We'll make sure your roof wins against the toughest opponents, rain, wind, and even those scorching summer days.
Make Right Way Roofing your MVP.
We're Right Way Roofing and we do it right. We'll always keep you watertight.
For more than 25 years, Precision Air and Plumbing has taken pride in delivering top-notch service, putting your comfort and satisfaction above all else. That's why we're offering a drain cleaning special for $39.95 with free camera inspection. When you call Precision, you're going to get a fair price and quality work done by true experts. Trust the #1 ranked company in the state for all your plumbing needs. Make the Precision decision today and call us at 602-765-PIPE.
Make a precision decision with Precision Air.
Post Malone is teaming up with Raising Cane's to empower the next generation of artists. For a limited time, 2 exclusive double-sided Post Malone posters are available at Raising Cane's. So post up your combo at Cane's while supplies last and support a good cause. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love.
We'll do what's best for the team, and we'll do what's best for you.
The Rich Eisen Show coming to you weekdays from 3 to 5 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
Welcome back to the show, The Lunch Break, KDUS AM 1060. You can also download the KDUS 1060 app. You can listen live. The podcasts are up there. We're getting the video stuff up there as well. You can tap in and join the show anytime, anywhere, any place. Doesn't matter whether you're at work, in the car, you're on the plane, wherever you are, you can join us here on the show. So make sure you download the KDUS AM 1060 app. It is time for the Week 7 NFL Rewind. So, Corey, if you don't mind, could you give me the lovely NFL music? And we'll start with a game that I said to everybody. I said, do yourself a favor. Unless you're a degenerate like me and you have something on the game, don't watch Jacksonville and New England. You're not going to enjoy yourself. And it was not an enjoyable watch. It was enjoyable if you were a Jags fan because you got to watch Tank Bigsby go off.
You wanted to keep hope alive. You had to have this one.
Bigsby's going to get into the end zone yet again as he puts the exclamation mark on Jacksonville's dominant ground game.
32-16. The Jags keep their season somewhat alive. They get to 2-5. They defeat Drake May and the New England Patriots. And listen, for the Patriots, this is all about continuing to just evaluate Drake May to see where he's at in his rookie season and evaluate this roster. It is not going to be pretty. They've got talent on defense, but they are just way behind offensively with a rookie quarterback. And so it's going to take a little while for things to develop. Speaking of develop, we all thought the Atlanta Falcons were developing into one of the best teams in the NFC. The Seattle Seahawks said not so fast.
Exhausted. I'd be exhausted, yeah. Third down and 9. Cousins looking, hit. Ball comes loose. Seahawks recover. And it's taken all the way back into the end zone by Hall.
Kenny Albert there, Fox with the call. Derek Hall recovers a fumble, takes it to the house. The Seahawks go into Atlanta, and they beat the Seahawks 34-14 to now take first place in the NFC West. Not sure we thought that was going to be the case. The Bills played with their food a little bit, but by the time it was all said and done, the Bills beat the Tennessee Titans.
Ray Davis gets the handoff. Davis slips a tackle at the 10. Davis at the 5. Davis, touchdown.
I love Mac. Mac is great. The exclamation point for Buffalo.
CBS there with the call. Ray Davis, I'll tell you, we can be honest here on the show. I had the over in that game. At that time, it was 27-10. The over was 40.5. I needed that touchdown. Didn't think I was going to get that touchdown because the Bills had no incentive. Guess what? Ray Davis had an incentive because he wanted to show to his Buffalo Bill coaches that he deserves to get some more touches. Well, thank you, Ray Davis. And the Buffalo Bills beat the Tennessee Titans 34-10. The Cleveland Browns lose their quarterback to a torn Achilles. Deshaun Watson going to miss the remainder of this year, most of next year as well. The Cincinnati Bengals defeat the Cleveland Browns 21-14, but it was this play to start the game that set the Bengals up for success.
Toss State the first, so Cincinnati and Joe Burrow is going to get the football to begin. And we're off and running here in Cleveland. Charlie Jones is going to play it, but a half step inside his own end zone, and he's got a seam. Jones. Hopkins unable to beat him, and here we go. Way. Jones, one man to beat him, and he is in. Let's see what the officials say. They may mark him back. Now they say touchdown.
Yeah, they didn't mark him back. Charlie Jones takes the opening kickoff to the house. The Bengals get out to a 7-0 lead, and that was it. And I'll tell you, it wasn't impressive what they've done the last 2 weeks, and the teams that they are playing are not very good. But for a defense that I think needed a phase to get right, to catch up to the way their offense had been playing, and the offense for the Bengals wasn't great on Sunday, they got the defensive performances they needed the last 2 weeks against the Giants and now against the Browns to kind of push them back to where we thought this team could be at the start of the season. It was the first of what was 2 early window games that were games of the week. I told you that I did not like this game. I did not know who to pick in this game. I thought these were 2 teams going back and forth and they were going to trade blows. That's exactly what happened. And it was Brandon McManus with this kick to give the Packers the win at home.
I call on the veteran. Just came here on Wednesday. He's got this to win it. Low snap, the kick. It is good. 45 for a Green Bay victory. Great job by Whelan getting that down.
What a game. We're going to be seeing these 2 quarterbacks playing a lot of big games for the rest of their career.
Tony Romo there on CBS with, I think, what was the perfect call. These 2, Jordan Love and C.J. Stroud, that is the future of the position in the NFL, and we are going to see a lot of those 2 guys play in prime time, get the top announcing booth there with Nance and Romo. They are going to be the spotlight almost every week in which they play, and we got to see 2 young quarterbacks go at it there. And McManus, they iced him on the first attempt to win the game. He made the first one, but the timeout got called the second time, no problem, as the Packers defeat the Texans 24-22. I said that we had a bunch of games of the week in the early slate. What we didn't have was a game of the week in Indianapolis.
Some kind of zone read play. It's Goodson into the end zone for his first NFL touchdown.
I mean, these 2 teams stink. The Indianapolis Colts turned back to Anthony Richardson. He looked extremely rusty. They didn't have Jonathan Taylor in this game. Miami doesn't have Tua, although he should be back this week for the matchup against the Cardinals. This was ugly. Miami got out to a 10-0 lead. Indy just kind of slowly it was just a malaise. They just walked their way. They didn't run just walked their way back into the game, and they somehow ended up winning 16-10. Again, I don't know how it happened, but Indianapolis picks up a win 16-10 again. Anthony Richardson didn't play well. No Tua for Miami. This game was, I think on Red Zone, they might have gone to it like 3 times. That was it. This was not a game to sit down and watch end to end, beginning to end. You know what was worthy of watching beginning to end?
From 44 for the lead. Bates has delivered. Detroit is on top with 15 seconds left.
I told you. This was our 5-point play on Friday. I told you that this was this spot for the Detroit Lions to show to the world that they are the top team in the NFC and for Minnesota to take a step back. And the early going of this game, I was going to come in here and it was going to be a victory lap on Monday. Now, my tire and the Minnesota Vikings had other plans for us because the Minnesota Vikings were able to work their way back into this game. They had a lead 29-28 late. Jake Bates there comes through with the winning kick to give Detroit the victory. But Detroit plus 1.5 just felt like the easiest pick to make all week. It felt like you're giving me points with the best team in the NFC. I know the Vikings are undefeated, but you're giving me points with the best team in the NFC. I will take it. Thank you. Can I have another? And that's exactly what the Detroit Lions did. As they pick up the victory, they knock off the Minnesota Vikings and they take over first place in the NFC North. It was a revenge game in East Rutherford.
Barkley has it in a crowd. They're going to push, and he is in for a touchdown. Saquon Barkley scores as an Eagle against the Giants here in Jersey.
No, he didn't just score. He ran all over the New York Giants. This game was ugly. It was ugly on both sides. The final score says the Eagles won 28-3. And I don't know how much of this game you might have consumed on Sunday, but every time they showed this game on Red Zone, one of the two quarterbacks was getting sacked, and more often than not, it was Daniel Jones going down. The offensive line couldn't protect him. They benched him in the fourth quarter of this game and turned over to Drew Lock, not just because he was underperforming, but I think they also didn't want him to get hurt because the offensive line, they were starting a backup left tackle. This was a mess for the New York Giants. They are a disaster, and the nightmare of all nightmares, the guy they let go in the offseason comes waltzing back in to a building where they were burning his jersey, apparently pregame. What a bunch of just stupid Giants fans there are out there. Your front office didn't want to bring Saquon Barkley back. You don't need to burn his jersey. He gave you everything he had. I don't care that he plays for the Eagles. Come on, let's get a grip here. But they walk in there and they walk out with a 28-3 victory. The Raiders had to make a quarterback change due to an injury, and it did not go well.
6 in the secondary, 3rd down and 10. Minshew running for his life, chased by Verse, throws downfield, it's picked off. McCullough, that's it. The Rams are going to win it. Another Raider turnover.
20-15, the Rams defeat the Raiders. And look, the Rams are one of those teams that I don't think they're going to be able to put it all together consistently enough. But any single time you face them and Matthew Stafford is healthy, they got a chance to beat you. They're just going to be pesky, and they're going to be a thorn in team sides. And so the Cardinals have one more matchup with them, and they could be a thorn in the Cardinals side later on in this season. Washington loses Jaden Daniels in the middle of this game. It's not a problem, in large part because of what they did at the beginning of the game.
Nickel package here for Dan Quinn's squad. 3rd and 9 for Carolina. Dalton on the move. He tried to throw it to his own man. He threw it to the other team. Intercepted by Fowler, and he's gonna go. Touchdown, Commanders. Bring in the boom early.
Yeah, it was early. It was in the middle. It was late. They did it all game long, 40-7. The Commanders, without Jaden Daniels, who leaves this game with a rib injury, they turn it over to Marcus Mariota. They thump the Panthers 40-7. I don't know if that says more about how good this Washington team is or how bad things are in Carolina. It might be a little bit of both. Speaking of two things can be true at the same time, the Kansas City Chiefs are not playing their best football, yet they're still a problem.
Adapt like Coach Reed does.
Oh, a little sweep. Harmon, no one near him.
makes a cut, racing to the end zone. He's in. Touchdown.
The Kansas City Chiefs go into San Francisco. They beat the 49ers 28-18, and they don't look good doing it. Mahomes isn't playing his best football, yet this team finds a way to continue to win football games. They're undefeated. It is scary to me that they're undefeated and still have not played their best football. The entire AFC should be on notice because they are still a problem. And it was a Sunday night disaster for Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, and the New York Jets.
Najee Harris to the end zone to close it out with a touchdown.
The Jets led 15-6 in this game. The Pittsburgh offense looked so bad they were booing Russell Wilson on the third drive of the game after he had 3 straight 3-and-outs. They were booing the offense as it was coming off the field. 31 unanswered points later, a 37-15 win. Pittsburgh is 5-2, and they just won't go away. It doesn't matter who their quarterback is. They will not go away as a team. Mike Tomlin constantly gets more out of his team than you expect. And they are 5-2. That is your Week 7 NFL Rewind. Didn't get a chance to do it yesterday, but we were going to do it today regardless because a lot of thoughts I have on these Week 7 games. And we have our Week 7 power rankings coming up in hour number 2 of the program. But coming up next, yeah, we don't have to like it, but it probably is the best matchup for baseball. We'll get into that next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West brings NFL, NBA, MLB, and local sports talk to you Monday night starting at 7 on KDUS AM 1060 and the KDUS 1060 app.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $200 in bonus bets when they bet $5. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bet and see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Terms and conditions apply.
Picture this. A family trusts a lawyer after their father has been seriously injured, and then they're told there's no way to win his case, and they'll have to take care of him with no support.
And that would have been the end of the story because they hired the wrong lawyer. Fortunately, they called us to the husband-wife law team. We were able to use our years of expertise to uncover evidence previously missed and guarantee they could change their father's life forever.
Do your research after a serious injury. Call the husband-wife law team first.
Hi, I'm Tom Horn, Arizona Superintendent of Schools. My job is to further improve Arizona's already excellent public schools. But if your school is not meeting your child's needs, you have choices.
The ESA program really helped my children because it actually gave us a choice with transportation, uniforms, with their one-on-one experience with their teachers.
There's not as many kids, so you can go to a teacher and ask questions and not have to wait that long.
Learn more about ESAs at azed.gov.
You want an easy way to feed your friends? You get a Jersey Mike's catering box. You want an exciting radio idea? You get me. Like this. There's a Jersey Mike's catering box off the coast of Corsica that needs rescuing. Me and a team of mercenaries go in, barrel rolling past the sleeping guard, and we find the catering box in a secret bunker. I say, men, let's get these 12 subs home. But they're already eating them. That's the problem with mercenaries. You can't trust them. The Jersey Mike's catering box, a sub above.
Carving out time in your afternoon for the Doug Gottlieb Show right here on KDUS AM 1060, 100.7 HD2, and KDUS1060.com. Weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m.
You just heard the big voice guy, the Doug Gottlieb Show, right here after we are done, 1 to 3 here on the station. You can listen to him right here on AM 1060. You can also listen on the free KDUS 1060 app. Go ahead and download that, sign up. You can listen to us live whenever you want. You can listen to the podcast of the show, all of it available on the KDUS 1060 app. So go ahead and get that downloaded. Easiest thing you're going to do. You can consume all of the content that we have here with the lunch break and with KDUS AM 1060. The World Series matchup is set. It is going to be the Los Angeles Dodgers representing the National League and the New York Yankees representing the American League. And I know that most of you probably feel very similarly to me when you look at this matchup, and you want to throw up in your mouth. You don't want to watch LA and New York. You don't want to watch the Dodgers and the Yankees. You don't want to watch two teams that spend the most, that always seem to buy up the good players. You don't want to see two big markets like that face off in the World Series where everybody is just going to gush over the two franchises and the players. It's not like the Yankees and Dodgers get enough press as it is. They just need a little bit more by being in the World Series. I get all of that. I'm with you. The idea of one of the Dodgers or Yankees hoisting up the Commissioner's Trophy is nauseating. I might actually have to leave this segment early to go throw up in the bathroom that's right around the corner just discussing it. But here we are.
But
this might be a good thing for baseball. And here's why it might be a good thing for baseball. You know what? We'll remove the might. This is a good thing for baseball. As a diehard baseball fan, I live and breathe this sport. I consume way too much baseball content, both podcasts, radio interviews, articles, games, baseball TV shows, quick pitch, MLB Network's on all the time. Like, I consume way too much baseball, so I am coming at this from a biased perspective. But as somebody who is a diehard in the weeds all throughout the year that the season is going on, all throughout the offseason, even when spring training starts, I am in the weeds on baseball more than I am any other sport. This sport has a reach problem right now. This sport is not reaching the younger demographic in a way that the other major sports are. This is a sport that needs to grow its audience. This is a sport that is competing and right now losing the ground to be the number 2 sport in the United States. Football's got the number 1 spot on lock. You're never taking that away from them. But the number 2 used to be baseball by a decent margin. And that's not the case anymore. And so in an era where social media reigns supreme, where short form content reigns supreme, listen, we do it here on the station. Coming out of this 2-hour radio show, we clip out the show and we put out takes that I have. And trust me, people are reminding me today on our social media accounts about the bad takes I had about the Cardinals. I've had a couple of comments already.
They're very happy to share that with you.
They're very happy to let me know that I was wrong, but we do it here on the show. We share short form content to reach a different audience, a younger audience, just a different audience. Major League Baseball needs to do the same thing. And the way they do it in today's sports media landscape, in today's sports consumption landscape, is through individual stars. Most fans, my age and older, follow a team. They watch other teams and they watch other players, but you follow a team. You're listening to this show. You're more than likely a Diamondbacks fan, and you are a diehard. You are listening to Sports Talk Radio talk about the Diamondbacks. You are watching 130, 140 games a year. You're listening to podcasts about you are consuming the content. There is a younger audience that doesn't interact with sports that way. They interact with a sport through its stars. And if they see a cool dunk by an NBA player, they like that NBA player and they watch more of that NBA player. If they see a cool wide receiver make a one-handed catch, they like that wide receiver. They watch that wide receiver and his team on Sundays. So for baseball, in the growth of the game, they have all of the stars that you would want playing on the stage where nobody else in baseball is playing, and all eyes are going to be on 2 teams. These would be the 2 teams that Major League Baseball would pick to be in the World Series, if you believed in that kind of thing. Shohei Ohtani is the number 1 athlete in the sport, not just in the United States, but the international audience that Shohei Ohtani brings. The ratings in Japan for this World Series are going to be numbers that are going to rival NFL numbers in the United States, and in some cases beat those numbers. The World Baseball Classic between the U.S. and Japan got like 40 plus million people in Japan watching. You have Aaron Judge, one of the best hitters and power hitters that the game has today. You have Juan Soto, one of the best all-around players in the game today. You have Mookie Betts, another one of the well-rounded, all-around players in the game. You have Freddie Freeman. You have 3 MVP candidates on one side. You have Juan Soto, who's an MVP candidate every year. Aaron Judge, who's going to win the MVP in the American League this year. You have Garrett Cole, who's a top 5 starting pitcher in all of baseball when he's at his best. Those are the stars that are on display for baseball. So not only are you going to be able to capture people with the star power that this league has on display, but for those casual observers of sports that will be thrown content their way via the algorithm of Shohei Ohtani doing cool things in the World Series, of Aaron Judge, of Garrett Cole, of Mookie Betts, of Juan Soto doing cool things, Giancarlo Stanton doing cool things in the World Series. Those are the stars that Major League Baseball, if they could pick, they would showcase to non-baseball fans to get them to consume baseball. So you don't have to like it. You can detest the idea of the Dodgers or the Yankees hoisting up the World Series trophy. I'd agree with you. But if you're somebody like me that loves this sport, that wants to see this sport evolve, wants to see this sport move in a direction of growing its audience instead of shrinking its audience, star power is one of the ways for that to be done. And during the World Series, MLB will have the 2 biggest stars in their sport right now playing against each other for a championship. In boxing, you want the 2 biggest draws going up against each other so you can sell tickets and you can sell pay-per-views. Major League Baseball, they don't get to book the World Series. They don't get to pick the 2 teams that are playing. But if Rob Manfred was sitting across from me right now and he had to tell the truth, they are over the moon about Shohei Ohtani versus Aaron Judge. It would be the matchup that they would love to have. From a jersey sale perspective, these are the 2 biggest stars. From a marketing perspective, these are the 2 biggest stars. From a sheer star power in what they do on the field perspective, they are stars. And for somebody who has not gotten a chance to see Shohei Ohtani play baseball, or who has not gotten to see Aaron Judge play baseball for extensive periods of time, I think this is that breakthrough moment for a lot of people. So again, you don't have to like it. It doesn't have to be the ideal scenario. But for a game that is doing all that they can do to speed up the game via the pitch clock, via the number of disengagements you can have on the mound, the number of mound visits you can have, the number of batters a reliever has to face so you're not constantly changing pitchers and so that there's action all the time. Major League Baseball is making a concerted effort to grow their game with a younger audience. And the way you grow the game with a younger audience in 2024 is through star power. And no offense to the 2 teams I'm about to mention, but if it was Mets and Guardians, there's not a lot of star power there. There's not a lot of sizzle to that steak that would be a Guardians-Mets World Series. There's a lot of sizzle on the grill for Dodgers-Yankees. The historic nature of the 2 franchises for all of those baseball historians out there. There are the baseball diehards that know how good these 2 teams are and how they have some of the best players in the game. And then there is the sheer star power that this World Series is going to provide that I think is going to expose the game in a big way to the biggest audience possible. The 2 biggest markets, the 2 biggest stars in the game. I think it is a recipe for Major League Baseball to do the best numbers they've done in a World Series for a really long time. I think they are going to do some of their best social numbers that they've done in a long time. And from a pure entertainment value, you can hate the 2 teams just as much as I do. This is going to be a fun series. To watch these stars go at it, to watch these 2 teams go at it is going to be a lot of fun. Again, you don't have to like it, but I think it is the best thing long-term for the growth of the game of baseball. And I'm a huge supporter of anything that helps with that. Hour number 1 in the books. Hour number 2, more Cardinals talk, the NFL Week 7 power rankings, all in hour number 2 of the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Mom, where are my keys?
Why do I have to take out the garbage?
I'm too sick to go to school.
Quit hogging the bathroom!
If you're having a hard time living with all the noise, it's even harder to live without it. Fake pills with fentanyl are the #1 killer of youth in Arizona. Learn how to talk to your kids at talknowaz.com. This message is sponsored by the Substance Abuse Coalition Leaders of Arizona.
Exciting news from the Window Depot. Their brand new location is now open near Cave Creek and Bell Road. Discover the largest selection of vinyl windows, doors, cabinets, skylights, countertops, and more. Planning a remodel? Their experts are here to make your vision a reality with exclusive special order options and a wide selection of in-stock inventory available to go home today. For the best price and the biggest inventory, visit one of their 3 Valley locations or shop online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
We believe everyone deserves access to fresh food. That's why the Kroger Company created the Zero Hunger, Zero Waste program to share fresh food with the people in our communities. Our program and foundations have donated 3 billion meals since 2017. That's nearly 10 meals for every person in the U.S. Together, we can do more for our neighbors. Just round up your purchase at checkout. Fry's, fresh for everyone.
You hear it all the time. Lawyers talk about all their experience, many years of experience with insurance companies, and experience in the courtroom. But what they're not talking about is their results. Maybe they don't have any. At Lerner & Rowe, we're proud of our results because that's how we measure our success. We've helped over 150,000 people recover billions of dollars for their injuries, with over $1 billion just in the last 5 years alone. When you want results, call
is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Don't let prostate cancer sideline you. Early detection can save lives. Talk to Arizona Urology Specialists about getting screened. Arizona Urology Specialists. Personal care for life's most personal issues. Visit ArizonaURO.com or call 602-887-2160.
Labrie, Mayotte, Petrucci, Portnoy, Rudis. Dream Theater. 40th Anniversary Tour. February 18th at Arizona Financial Theater. Dream Theater. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Don't miss Dream Theater. 40th Anniversary Tour.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hour number 2 of the program, we welcome you into the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert here with you on a Victory Tuesday edition of the program. The Arizona Cardinals picking up a somewhat surprising 17-15 victory over the Los Angeles Chargers on Monday Night Football to move to 3-4 on the season. And we are going to dive a lot into that here on hour number 2 of the program. And I think the place for us to start is this team did move to 3-4 with the win last night. They are 1 game back of first place in the NFC West. Their schedule over the next 3 weeks has some opportunities for them to win football games. 2 of their next 3 opponents are teams with records worse than theirs. So there is an opportunity for them to make some noise here ahead of a stretch of games against the Seahawks and Vikings to stay relevant in this playoff race, which is what I believe last night's win did, not because they won the football game, but how they won the football game. Yet I found myself even more surprised this morning, logging on to The Athletic, seeing a story about what every team should be at the trade deadline in the NFL this year. And my favorite thing about these stories is it's really easy to read about the Arizona Cardinals because they're always the first team. So you don't have to scroll and try to find where they are in the list. You just story, first couple of blurbs, let me scroll down a little bit. Boom, Arizona Cardinals. Whatever they feel about the Cardinals, I'm going to get right away. I don't have to wait. I don't have to scroll down to the bottom. Like, it's just perfect. So they're right there. And so The question was should they be a buyer? Should they be a seller? What should they be? And I was surprised that after winning the game last night, moving to 3-4, being just one game out of first place in the NFC West, that Doug Holler, who wrote the blurb for The Athletic about what they should be, said that they should be sellers, that they should trade Budda Baker, that they should sell off of this roster. And I'm sorry, but I can't help but push back against that. Because if you're going to sell now, if you're going to choose to be a seller at 3-4, if you're going to choose to pack it in when you are one game out of first place, the Rams might not be anything this season. They've got a lot of injuries. Who knows if Matthew Stafford can stay healthy? Who knows when Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are going to come back for this Rams team? The 49ers just lost Brandon Ayuk for the whole season. George Kittle's banged up. Trent Williams is fighting people on the field. Deebo Samuel's got pneumonia. Nothing is guaranteed for any of the teams in the NFC West. What is guaranteed is that the Arizona Cardinals are 3-4 and one game out of first place. And so if you are going to send the signal to your fan base while you are second place in the NFC West, and not just a second place by proxy, not just a second place by happenstance, you're in second place because you beat the 49ers, so you have the head-to-head tiebreaker, and you've already beaten the Rams, who are what, 2-4? So you are one game back of first place in the NFC West, and you've already won 2 games in the division with still 4 to go. You haven't played the Seahawks yet. You still have a game against the 49ers. You have another one against the Rams. How can you possibly wave the white flag and end this season 7 games in and entertaining calls and making trades? Now, that's not to say that you need to be an all-out buyer. Everybody knows the stance of this program. Go and get a pass rusher. Call up the Browns about Myles Garrett. Call up the Raiders about Max Crosby. See if those teams will part with those players and what the price tag would have to be. You need to do your due diligence. That is the firm position of this show, of the lunch break, of how we feel this Cardinals team should operate. But if you don't do that, as long as you don't sell, I'm not going to go after you too hard. I'm not going to get on Monty Ossenfort and the Cardinals too much if they just wanted to stand pat, get healthy, and ride this out and see what they're able to do this year. How would you feel if the Cardinals decided right now to completely sell and trade players? You got a team that's 3-4. You have signed up for Jonathan Gannon and Monty Ossenfort to take over this team. This is year 2 of that process. Year 1, you knew there were going to be some bumps. So you accepted that as a fan. We accepted that we were going to watch a team that was in need of a full retool, a full rebuild. They had the quarterback. They believed in the quarterback. They had the draft capital to be able to quickly add talent, but there was a lot of talent that needed to be added to this team. So you knew the first year was going to be rough. You knew the first year was going to be ugly at times. You knew the first year you were going to take your lumps. It wasn't going to be pretty, but you could see the forest through the trees. You could see what the organization was trying to do. And so you accept it. It's easy to accept the plan and accept the negatives of a plan when you believe in the plan and you believe in the people that are laying out the plan and believe in the people that are executing the plan. If you didn't believe in Monty Ossenfort, if you didn't believe in Jonathan Gannon, you would get on them with how last year went. But you believed in the plan. You believed in an offseason where they were going to spend some money. You believed in an offseason where they had the draft capital. So, okay, great. 2023 stunk. It was bad. It was ugly at times. You didn't have Kyler for half the year. It was not good. Okay, but you accepted that. That's okay. I understand why 2023 is going to be the way 2023 is. New head coach, new GM, quarterback coming off of an injury, got to install a new culture, got to install a new methodology to both defense and offense. That takes time. That takes reps. There are games that these Players have to play together before it all gels. Okay, I'm going to give you a year. I'm going to give you 2023. But part of giving this organization not a mulligan, but giving them the pass on what was a bad year in 2023 is because 2024 is supposed to bear fruit of we're moving in the right direction. Now, I think Monday's win does a lot for that path. But turning around and over the next couple of weeks, now results change that. If they lose the next 2 weeks and they're 3-6 and they look bad, they start to fall out of place in the division. All right, then maybe you can start to entertain the idea of selling. But I don't know how on a Tuesday, October 22nd, entering a game against Miami that the Cardinals have a chance to win on Sunday, you can consider this team a seller. I don't know how that is the case. Because as a fan base, you accepted 2023 for 2024 to trend in the right direction. And if 7 weeks in, you're going to give up on what is a path to being relevant late in the season and potentially making noise in the the NFC playoff race, what message is that sending to the fan base? If you're the organization, you wouldn't like that. You wouldn't understand. You wouldn't get it. You wouldn't know why they would be giving up on a year that, while record-wise isn't all that great right now, they've got a chance. So you've got to let it play out. Again, it doesn't mean you have to go wild and trade your entire draft capital to bring in a bunch of players, but let it play out, perhaps. See it through. And that is where I have a disconnect with this story and where I have a disconnect with what Doug Holler wrote about the Cardinals being sellers. Here is the blurb that Holler put together about the Cardinals. The best thing the inconsistent Cardinals have going for them is the NFC West, a division in which no team has taken control. That is where this team is right now. They are in the mix. He goes on. A team with potential should buy, but that's not the Cardinals, not this season. And that means one thing, trade Budda Baker.
Oh.
Now, there's a difference there between being a buyer and being a full-blown seller and selling the top player on your defense. There's a difference between those two things. Again, the position of this show is there's a pass rush option available to this team. They should go out and push those chips in to get a player that helps them now, but also they sign to a long-term deal and helps them down the road. And he goes on to say, but entering Monday's game against the Cardinals have not looked like a team that was ready to contend. That means making tough decisions. Moving Baker won't be popular amongst fans, but it might be the organization's best move. If this team was 2-5, if this team was 1-6, we can have that conversation. I don't think you can send the message to the fan base of trading Budda Baker and admitting we are sellers. We are not competing. We don't plan on playing meaningful games in December. We don't plan on seeing this through. I don't think that is a message you can send. Because again, you accept what happened in 2023. I don't think you can accept willfully giving up with the way this season has gone. You don't have to buy, but you need to stay the course and see this through. Because what if they beat the Dolphins on Sunday and they move to 4-4? Is trading Budda Baker the right thing then? If they beat the Jets, if they go 2-1 in this stretch and they beat the two teams that have a worse record than they do in the Dolphins and the Jets, and they're 5-5, they're in the mix. They are in the mix. Is it pretty? No, but they're in the mix. And with the way the division stands right now, with the tiebreakers they have with the two teams behind them, playing 2 games with the team in front of them, who have not been super inspiring at 4-3, I think you have to see this through. And that's what a win last night did. I think it puts the belief back into this organization that they can reach the expectation of playing meaningful football in December. So I would hate to see them give up on that potential after what they had just done last night. That to me would make no sense. So again, shocked that the Cardinals won last night. Did not pick them to win. Even more shocked that they are listed as sellers after winning that game last night and being 1 game out of first place in the NFC West with 2 games against that team, where 1 win automatically puts you in. You beat the Seahawks, you're 4-4, they're 4-4, boom, you flip because you now have beaten everybody in the division. You just have to see that through. You have to allow the process to play out. You don't have to full-blown buy, but you cannot sell right now. Not at 3-4, not after with the way this team pulled out a gritty win last night at home on Monday Night Football. 602-260-1060 is the number for you to join the conversation, for you to join the show. Coming up next, we have the power rankings in the NFL after all of the Week 7 action. My top 10 teams in the NFL. Do we have a new number 1? Any new entries to the top 10? We will do that next here on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Listener rewards for you with the KDUS 1060 app. Download today to hear all of the national and local shows you love. That's the KDUS 1060 app.
Neon City Festival takes over downtown Las Vegas with art, food, and free performances by Alice in Wonderland, Neon Trees, Russell Dickerson, 7 Lions, and more. November 22nd through the 24th. Visit neoncityfestival.com.
This fall, choose Primavera Online, and you'll be choosing a school with flexibility, personalized support, and an award-winning curriculum that's over 20 years strong. Now enrolling grades K to 12 at chooseprimavera.com.
Exciting news from the Window Depot. Their brand new location is now open near Cave Creek and Bell Road. Discover the largest selection of vinyl windows, doors, cabinets, skylights, countertops, and more. Planning a remodel? Their experts are here to make your vision a reality with exclusive special order options and a wide selection of in-stock inventory available to go home today. For the best price and the biggest inventory, visit one of their 3 Valley locations or shop online at thewindowdepot.com. The Window Depot, more than a window store.
Alaskan AC has been keeping people chill since 1972.
Oh, chill. Cool. I get it. It's a theme.
No, it's not.
It's not?
The theme is 72, as in 1972.
Is that why you dress like that?
$72 for an Alaska vacation.
Ooh.
$72 for a service call.
Neat.
Even $72 off any repair.
Whoa.
This month, it's 72, 72, 72 to celebrate 1972, the year Alaskan AC opened its doors.
And everybody was kung fu fighting.
Everyone was streaking, too. Let's stick to what we do best.
That's right. A $72 Alaska vacation is the perfect way to prepare for the upcoming season. It's so good, we guarantee no breakdowns.
The $72 service call makes it easy to check any concerns.
And saving $72 off any repair means that you can buy one of those cool banana seats for your rad bike.
You have a weird definition of cool.
72, 72, 72. This month at AlaskanAC.com.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. We all know the Baltimore Ravens can run the football. The problem has been the team's ability to hurt teams through the air. But thanks to the addition of Derrick Henry, that may no longer be an issue for them. For years, Baltimore was in search of a difference maker to take some attention away from Jackson. But the only player to rush for over 1,000 yards as Jackson's teammate was an aging Mark Ingram. The Ravens had found that weapon in Henry. And with the attention now split between the reigning MVP and the former Offensive Player of the Year, the passing game is more wide open than ever. Just look at how Baltimore handled the Buccaneers last night. Jackson throwing for over 280 yards while completing 5 touchdown passes en route to a 10-point win. And if that's the type of performance we can expect from Jackson through the air, teams may have a real hard time picking their poison with this offense. And that decision is seemingly getting murkier by the week. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The NBA finally back. The new season means new ways to get in on all the action. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New DraftKings customers can bet $5, get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Every point counts with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use code Patrick. Code Patrick for new customers. You get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in New Hampshire, Oregon, Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/bball.
Have you downloaded the KTUS 1060 app yet? Download today and get all of your favorite local and national shows right on your phone.
Welcome back to the show. Chris Schubert here with you. The lunch break, KDUS AM 1060, a Victory Tuesday edition of the program. The Cardinals defeating the Chargers last night 17-15. Your thoughts, 602-260-1060 if you want to join the conversation as we wrap up week 7 of the NFL slate here today on the show. And we will turn the page tomorrow towards week 8. We will preview the Cardinals against the Dolphins, because a little bit of a programming note. Today and tomorrow, my only 2 shows this week. I am out of town the rest of the week on Thursday and Friday, so we're going to have to get a lot jammed into tomorrow's show. We're going to have to preview the game for the Dolphins. I'll have to offer my prediction. We're going to have to do the Schubert 6. We're going to have to do the NFL look-ahead. So we have all of that jammed in that we would normally spread out over Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We're going to jam it into a Wednesday show, so you are all set. So I have to make my picks earlier this week than normal. So that is what you can anticipate on tomorrow's show. So we'll turn the page towards week 8 tomorrow. But for today, we've already done the NFL Rewind. We have to now do the NFL after week 7 NFL Power Rankings. So it means I need the music back. My top 10 teams after week 7 in the NFL. We will go from 10 until 1. And I use every excuse in the book to play this music when we discuss NFL. So that's mainly the reason why we do this segment. At number 10, it is our newest addition to the top 10. And it's one that I don't feel great about, but this goes to show you where if you're not a top, let's say 7 team right now, it's very fluid in the NFL. Teams 8 through probably like 14 or 15, you could interchange them. But I'm impressed with a team that can go on the road, can defeat a team that we kind of were all buying in on, a team that we all thought was really starting to make noise in the NFC. So you go in there, you win. Yes, you're only 4-3, but you're winning your division. So you currently are a playoff team. You just picked up a nice road victory. You continue to show flashes of a team that, if you put it all together, would be dangerous. The Seattle Seahawks, for me, the number 10 team in the NFL after week 7 of the NFL season. Number 9, look, it's not pretty. It doesn't really have to be. Their defense is great. They've played 2 quarterbacks this year. They're 5-2. They play in one of the toughest divisions in football because of the 2 teams that they'll be competing with at the end of the year are elite of the elites, or are supposed to be. One of them is playing like it. The other is trending that direction. And it doesn't matter who they play. It doesn't matter who their quarterback is. All that matters is who their coach is, because he gets more out of his team than I think any coach in football. The Pittsburgh Steelers at number 9. So we start off the week 7 NFL Power Rankings with 2 newcomers to the list. The Seahawks and Steelers earned their way into the top 10. And the Steelers on Sunday night, after making a quarterback change that nobody could understand. You were 4-2 with Justin Fields. Yes, it wasn't pretty, but if you're winning, why upset the apple cart? Why run the risk of potentially losing the room? Why run the risk of letting the media run wild? Why run the risk of losing on Sunday Night Football in primetime, dropping to 4-3, and just opening the door for everything to be on the table and for everything to be discussed about that decision and why you made it? And it wasn't looking pretty to start that game, yet a blowout win on Sunday Night Football, and Russ looking decent in the second half of that game, and then moving to 5-2. Mike Tomlin looks like a genius. Is it sustainable? I don't know, but he looks like a genius for what he was able to do there. So the Steelers at number 9, this team would be higher. This team would be probably a top 6 team. This team might be a top 5 team. But I just don't know how long their quarterback is going to be out for. They were super impressive. They were one of our Schubert 6 selections that we got right. We went 4-2 on the week. The 2 losses that we had, Jets -2 against the Steelers, and then the Chargers, the Jets -2.5, the Chargers -2 against the Cardinals. We won everything else. We won Bengals over the Browns. We won the Bills over the Titans giving the points, the Lions getting the points, the Commanders. We went 4-2 overall record-wise, and we got our 2 big point allocations, our 6 and our 5-pointer. And I thought this was one of the easiest picks to make. I just didn't like how big the number was, so it was my 1-point play. The Washington Commanders blew the doors off of the Carolina Panthers. 40-7 in a game in which their quarterback left the game early with a rib injury. He's listed as week to week. Does not give me confidence that he is going to be on the field when they play the Bears this upcoming weekend, when we could potentially get number 1 versus number 2, when we could get Caleb Williams versus Jaden Daniels. It does not look like that is likely. We'll see. If we do, I'd feel better about this. I'd feel better about pushing the Commanders up if I knew that Jaden Daniels was more day-to-day than he was week-to-week. But that tells me that it's at the earliest we're going to see him is 2 games from now for the Washington Commanders. And so because of that, Marcus Mariota looked good, but it was the Panthers. I can't push them up further because I think they could very easily lose this week to the Bears and move down a little bit. Number 7 here on our after Week 7 NFL Power Rankings, the Buffalo Bills kind of played with their food a little bit against the Tennessee Titans. Kind of messed around early, spotted the Titans an early lead, then had to come back, close the door late, which is what good teams do. Good teams win, great teams cover. The Bills covered this game after just looking like they were just trying to win it outright at one point. Like, they did not look impressive in the first half, but this is what good teams do. They find ways to win. The great teams cover. The Bills were able to cover, and for now, they're going to stay at the number 7 spot here in the power rankings. Number 6, I'm not going to penalize this team too much for a loss because they went into Green Bay and they played a really good team, and they played them really tough. And so that is the Houston Texans, the number 6 team for me in the NFL after Week 7. So far, 10 through 6, Seattle Seahawks, Pittsburgh Steelers, Washington Commanders, Buffalo Bills, Houston Texans. We now get into the top 5. Number 5, they were higher up last week. I told everybody, I think this team is ripe for a loss. I think this team has shown the cracks of a team that could lose a couple here. The recipe might be out for how to beat this team. And I said this was the week that it was going to get done. And it did get done via the Detroit Lions. The Minnesota Vikings fall to number 5. Not going to punish them too strongly. They played, in my opinion, the best team in the NFC. That should tell you how high up the chart they're going to be. But they are still 5-1. They still came back in this game after spotting the Lions a huge lead early, a multi-scored lead early, a 2-score lead early. They were able to bounce back, to battle back, to have a lead late in this game, and to force the Lions and Jared Goff to drive the field to kick that game-winning field goal that we played for you in hour number 1. So give them credit for still battling, for still fighting. But they do have to take a step back after losing. And again, I thought this was in the cards after the way that they played against the Jets in London, allowing them to work back into that game. And it certainly reared its ugly head here against the Lions. Number 4, the Green Bay Packers. They just won that game against the Houston Texans. Jordan Love is back, healthy. He's starting to hit a rhythm. This team is starting to hit a rhythm. They're well coached. They're a young team. They're energetic. They play a explosive brand of football offensively. Their defense is good. They're just an all-around good team. And with Jordan Love healthy after missing a couple of games at the beginning of the season, they really seem to be hitting their stride. And when you can have a marquee victory like the one that they had this past weekend against the Houston Texans, that does a lot for you. Resumes don't matter as much in football as they do in NFL football as they do in college football, right? Your resume matters to making the college football playoff. In the NFL, it's wins and losses, but the resume for the Packers gets bolstered here a little bit. And so in doing these rankings, I'll take resume into account. I'll take who you've beaten, who you've played, who your wins are against. That win against the Texans, one of those staple marquee victories that would go under the notable wins column if we were evaluating the Packers as a CFP team. And so the Packers at number 4. Number 3, and I thought about putting them at number 2 as the top team in the AFC, but they will be just behind for now, the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson is insane. He had 5 touchdowns last night and 5 incompletions. An MVP candidate who has already done extraordinary things, has already done things that blows our mind on a weekly basis, finds new ways to top himself. That is the mark of a true GOAT, a true MVP candidate who he just finds new ways to come through for his team. They are a scary team right now. They have got this offense humming. Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, this is one of those things that we all thought was a problem in the moment. And yet sometimes when you think something is a problem all throughout the offseason, you get to the start of the year and it doesn't really pan out the way that you expect it to. And it's not as scary. No. This is as advertised. This is as scary. They are going to be a tough team to stop. If Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson are healthy and they're healthy up front, good luck to everybody in the National Football League. The one team that has their number, that would be the team that is number 2 for us on the power rankings, that being the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, you're undefeated. I got to give you one of the top 2 spots. It's not pretty. It's kind of ugly. The quarterback's not playing well, but they are undefeated. And when you are a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, when you are a coach like Andy Reid, it doesn't have to be pretty because you have institutional knowledge of how to win. And so what you do is you find ways to win. You find ways to win when it is not pretty. And so this team is undefeated in spite of their poor play at times, in spite of their quarterback turning the ball over more than we are accustomed to. But that institutional knowledge of knowing how to win in those key moments, knowing when to buckle down, knowing that this is a drive they have to have, and they've done it over and over again. Mahomes had a run in this game where he was running to the sidelines and all of a sudden just kind of juked back into the field of play and just went for, I think it was 40-something yards. Those are the types of plays. When you have an institutional knowledge of how to win, those plays go your way. You know when to turn it up a notch. And the number 1 team in the NFL after week 7, the Detroit Lions. You beat Minnesota. You beat your division rival. You take over first place. You are humming offensively. You find new ways to win offensively each and every week. You can run the football with Montgomery and Gibbs. You can throw the football to Amon-Ra St. Brown. You can feature Sam Laporta. Whoever you need to feature on a given week, you can. Whoever you need to give the ball to in order to win, you can. You have a quarterback who is locked in right now. You have a coach who I absolutely love. You are the best team in the NFL after week 7, the Detroit Lions. So that is your week 7 NFL power rankings as we head into week 8 of the NFL season. Coming up next, the Cardinals got a big victory on Monday night, but it wasn't all positive. We'll get into that next here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Football fans, it's Mellow Monday, so join the Rooster at Mellow Mushroom off the I-17 in Happy Valley Road between 5 and 6 p.m. every Monday night during football season.
Oh, Sasquatch, you're back already? Yeah, you sure do have a lot of camera equipment. Are you a collector? Oh, sorry. Here, let me take that for you. And I'll get you a receipt. Sasquatch?
Was that? Who was that?
Oh, Squatch? Oh, yeah, he's a big supporter of Goodwill's mission of ending poverty through the power of work. He donates stuff almost every week.
Awesome.
It's not an urban legend. Your Goodwill donations help improve the lives of Arizonans every day. Donate today at your neighborhood Goodwill.
Teeth are amazing. That's why at Affordable Dentures and Implants, they believe it's time the world sees your smile. With new financing options available, you don't need to wait to get your smile back. 6 practices in the Phoenix area open to serve you. Schedule a free new smile consultation. Call 1-800-DENTURE or visit AffordableDentures.com to find a location near you. Services provided by an Arizona licensed general dentist. Affordable Dentures and Implants. Go ahead and smile.
Go ahead and smile.
The Mitsubishi Year-End Sales Event is going on now at Scottsdale Mitsubishi. Right now, you can receive 0.99% APR for up to 60 months on the 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander and Outlander Plug-in Hybrid. That's right, 0.99% for full 60 months and 90 days no payment.
And bring down your trade to receive up to $1,000 trade-in bonus cash on select models. Come see why Scottsdale Mitsubishi is your official inflation-fighting dealership. The name to remember, Scottsdale Mitsubishi, Scottsdale Mitsubishi.
Another Mark Auto Group dealership.
Welcome to Barney Farms, your new home in Queen Creek, an oasis of comfort and excitement where the outdoors feels as much a part of your home as the home itself. Visit FultonHomes.com. Fulton Homes, you're proud to own, we're proud to build.
Unbelievable savings at Superstar Car Wash. Lock in unlimited car washes for just $15 a month with our Clean Plan. Available at any of our 51 Arizona locations or online. Visit superstarcarwash.com for details. Terms and conditions apply.
Right now at Mark Kia in Scottsdale, lease a 2024 Kia Sportage for $169 a month for 36 months with just $19.99 down. The name to remember? Mark Kia. Mark Kia. Go to markkia.com for full details. 10,000 mile per year lease, $0 security deposit, payment plus tax title license, $898.fee, 4544 due at signing. Offer expires October 31st, 2024.
You know when you realize you made a horrible mistake and got stuck with the wrong injury lawyer? When it's too late. Hi, I'm Mark Breyer.
And I'm Alexis Breyer. We're the husband and wife law team. You can protect your rights by asking the right questions. When was the last time the leaders of the firm went to trial? And why does their fee go up if they have to file suit after an unfair offer?
That's right, Alexis. But we know those firms don't want you asking those questions, and they're not going to answer them. They're going to dance around it. Do your research after a serious injury. Call the husband and wife law team first.
Primavera Online prepares high school students for a bright future with the Strong Mind Merit and Performance Award, which helps with college, trade school, certifications, and the military. Enroll in grades K to 12 at chooseprimavera.com.
I'll turn those picks into gold. Wall-to-wall NFL coverage and the biggest stories coming to you from 3 to 5 p.m. The Rich Eisen Show here on KDUS AM 1060 and KDUS1060.com.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert here with you. Cardinals win last night 17-15 over the Chargers, but it was not all good news in that game. There were more injuries that plagued the Arizona Cardinals. During this game, they lost Dennis Gardeck and Sean Murphy-Bunting, and we learned a little bit into hour number one of the show that Dennis Gardeck tore his ACL last night. And this is a player who had 3 sacks for the team, an interception, a forced fumble. He had been a huge part of this, what was left of this defensive pass rush group. But Mike Garafolo earlier during the show tweeting out that he tore his ACL last night, sources say, so that doesn't look good for him to be able to play the remainder of the year. Don't know about Sean Murphy-Bunting, who left with a neck injury in that game last night, so we'll keep an eye on that. But that's not all of the bad news for the Arizona Cardinals. So they lose Gardeck to injury, and they cannot afford more injuries to this defense. They can't. I mean, we have spent a lot of today being very upbeat, being very positive, charting the path towards a team that is one game out of first place in the NFC West, talking about a team that I think has reestablished a belief in this coaching staff, that reestablished their place in the playoff picture in the NFC with a gritty, tough win last night. But at some point, you just run out of horses. You run out of players that you can turn to get through a season. And that's where you can start to entertain the idea of being a seller, right? Is when it's just, we don't have anybody left. And so that is a tough blow for a team that should be riding an emotional high, that should be excited after what was a thrilling, important victory last night. To grit it out against the grittiest team in the NFL and get a win and move closer to 500 and move closer to the top of the NFC West, to then be dealt the blow of Dennis Gardeck's going to miss the remainder of the year with a torn ACL, or at least it's feared that he tore his ACL. It's a bit of a gut punch. And then during the game, I thought the broadcast pointed something out that was concerning. Now, wins can wash a lot of this stuff away. When you win football games, a lot of what I'm about to talk about takes care of itself. Winning is the great cure-all. If the team is winning and there is team success and you're marching towards the greater goal of being a playoff team and competing in the NFC, then what I'm about to talk about doesn't matter as much. But the broadcast late in the second half made a point to talk about the way Marvin Harrison Jr. was involved in the offense. And they showed some of his reps running routes. And they very nicely talked about it as he is frustrated. He was running routes pretty lazily. Now, you can say it was because he's frustrated that he's not involved, that he's frustrated that he's not getting the ball. That's fine. But he was lazily running routes. And The Cardinals have to figure out a way to get this offense rolling where he can be a major part of it, because when he is a major part of it, this whole thing looks a lot different. And so you win the football game. You have a nice, gritty win on Monday night. You move one game closer to the top of the division. You keep yourself relevant for at least a couple more weeks in the playoff race. All positive, all positive, all positive, all positive. And we have been beating the positive drum here on the show of what this win could do from a mindset moving forward. Yet they still have to solve this puzzle. This offensive puzzle is still one that Drew Petzing has yet to be able to complete. There are some missing pieces or pieces not in the right spot. There needs to be a better way for this offense to function. Because statistically, it wasn't pretty last night. The running game, extremely pretty. 181 yards on the ground. They looked like the team that was entering last night as the number one rushing team in football. They looked like the team that had the number one rush defense. Like the Cardinals did what the Chargers are supposed to be good at. 181 yards on the ground. They had Connor go over 100. They limited the Chargers to 59 yards on the ground. That's great. Kyler Murray, 14 of 26, 145 yards, 5.6 yards per completion, the one touchdown, the one interception, a QBR of 78.5. Then we look at the receiving numbers. Trey McBride led the way, 5 catches for 51 yards on 7 targets. Second in targets was Marvin Harrison Jr., 3 catches for 21 yards, 6 targets. And then James Conner, 2 catches out of the backfield, 51 yards. One of those was a huge play late in the game for the Cardinals to set up that game-winning field goal by Chad Ryland. And then it was a bunch of 1 catch for Michael Wilson, 1 catch for Greg Dortch, 1 catch for Elijah Higgins, 1 catch for Tip Ryman. So 14 catches across the board on 26 attempts. They have to find a better way to get everybody involved. They have to find a way to get Marvin Harrison Jr. going early and often, get Trey McBride involved early and often. It was what we talked about last week, that this offense has the pieces to be successful. They have the talent. They have one of the top tight ends in the game right now. Trey McBride is the perfect safety blanket. And I don't mean that in a negative way. He is the perfect middle of the field target that is a problem for opposing defensive coordinators. They have a running back in the backfield that can not only go for 100 on the ground, but can catch the ball out of the backfield and can make a difference in the passing game. They have a top 5 overall pick who is somebody that can be a game wrecker, that can be a game changer. So this is a group that has the talent to be successful, to put up more than 17 points. This is a team that has more offensive talent than what their box scores have indicated, just from a points perspective. 17 this week against the Chargers, 13 last week against the Packers, 24 against the 49ers in a win. Okay. 14 in a loss to the Commanders, 13 in a loss to the Lions. 41, that was the big explosion against the Rams. And then they scored 28 against the Bills. They just lost that game. In only one game this season have they gone over 30. In 3 of their 7 games, they've gone over 20. This offense needs to do more. And so we can talk all about the grittiness of the win. We can talk about the culture winning mentality that I think that win instills in this team, that they found a way to win a game they probably shouldn't have won. They found a way to win a game that they were not the favorite in. They found a way to win a game in which the metrics, the stats, the personnel were lopsided against them. That is a gritty, tough, culture-defining win. But that's not the way they're going to be able to win consistently in the NFL. They win consistently week in and week out by being the team that drops 28 against the Bills, that drops 41 on the Rams, that can score with the 49ers and win a close game late in the fourth quarter. That is the team that needs to show up more often than not. Because again, with the Dennis Gardeck injury, I just don't know how many guys they have left on defense where they're going to be able to play a game like they played last night and hold the opposing team to 15 points. I just don't know how often they're going to do that. It's going to look more like the Commanders dropping 42, the Packers dropping 34, the Bills dropping 34. It's going to look more like that. And so if they want to be in those games, they need the offense to gel. They need the buy-in across the board, and they have the talent to do so. It's much easier to correct things and to change things and get everybody on the right page after a win than it is after a loss. Super easy to walk into the film room and look at all the mistakes and look at all the missed plays and make the adjustments when you know in the back of your mind, yeah, but we still won. That's a great place to be mentality-wise. It's bad when you get blown out 34-13 to the Packers and you watch the film and you see all of the great plays that you left on tape. When you leave plays on tape in a win, gets you excited to play football the next week. All right, there's meat on the bone. We can get better. And so that's why I said winning kind of cures this, because it allows there to be a default position of we won. We can win. There are ways for us to win even if we're not at 100%. We don't have to be perfect in order to win. And sometimes the idea of needing to be perfect can stop you from finding that early success. So this offense is still a question mark. This offense has the talent to be great. This has the offensive talent to put up numbers that allow them to win football games. They just have to find the consistency. And so even though it didn't look great last night, they were able to gut out a victory, and they need to use that as motivation, as the building block for what is an important game this upcoming weekend against the Dolphins. Coming up next, we wrap up this edition of The Lunch Break. It's the leftovers, all of the stuff that we didn't get to throughout the course of the show. We'll do it next. The Lunch Break, KDUS AM 1060.
Check out the Doug Gottlieb Show, Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m., right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Alaskan AC has been keeping people chill since 1972.
Oh, chill. Cool. I get it. It's a theme.
No, it's not.
It's not?
The theme is 72, as in 1972.
Is that why you dress like that?
$72 for an Alaska vacation.
Ooh.
$72 for a service call.
Neat.
Even $72 off any repair.
Whoa.
This month, it's 72, 72, 72 to celebrate 1972, the year Alaskan AC opened its doors.
And everybody was kung fu fighting.
Everyone was streaking, too. Let's stick to what we do best.
That's right. A $72 Alaska vacation is the perfect way to prepare for the upcoming season. It's so good, we guarantee no breakdowns.
The $72 service call makes it easy to check any concerns.
And saving $72 off any repair means that you can buy one of those cool banana seats for your rad bike.
You have a weird definition of cool.
72, 72, 72. This month at AlaskanAC.com.
At Affordable Dentures and Implants, their Snap Secure dental implants will let you eat and speak with confidence at a price that's affordable. So if you think you can't afford dental implants, think again. Their 6 practices in the Phoenix area are open to serve you. Schedule a free new smile consultation by calling 1-800-DENTURE or visit AffordableDentures.com. That's 1-800-DENTURE or visit AffordableDentures.com to find the practice near you. Schedule your new smile consultation today. Services provided by an Arizona licensed general dentist. Affordable Dentures and Implants. Go ahead and smile.
Go ahead and smile.
Make Thanksgiving an unforgettable event this year with inspiring designs from Living Spaces. Create a warm, inviting atmosphere where everyone feels welcome and comfortable as you bring together pieces that offer great style and quality. From dining sets starting at just $250 to extension tables and spacious sectionals. Find everything you need to host a special gathering. With free shipping as soon as next day, you can get it all in time for the feast. Discover the perfect setting for your Thanksgiving only at Living Spaces.
Living Spaces.
Bringing you the latest sports topics weekly right here on KDUS AM 1060 with me, the Doug Gottlieb Show, 1 to 3 p.m.
The final segment of the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert here with you. We do it each and every day here on the show to wrap up. It is called The Leftovers. It is the topics, these stories that we were not able to get to throughout the course of the show, and we just put it all into the blender here, the last segment, and we just rapid fire through all of the stories that we didn't get to over the course of the show. And I think the place to start is the NBA season starts tonight. Suns don't play until tomorrow. We'll get into that on tomorrow's edition of the Lunch Break. But the NBA season does kick off tonight. 2 games. The Knicks are in Boston to take on the Celtics, and the Timberwolves are in LA to take on the Lakers. The big thing about both of these games, at least from the national perspective, is the Knicks with Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges and Jalen Brunson against the NBA champs in the Boston Celtics, a kind of preview of what people think the Eastern Conference Finals could look like this year. And then on the other side of things, Minnesota in the post-Cat world, what do they look like? And of course, all eyes on the Lakers because Bronny and Bronny Jr. will be able to share the basketball floor for the first time together. And we talked about being nauseous over the idea of the Dodgers and the Yankees in the World Series. I'm equally as nauseous about the pub that this LeBron and Bronny stuff has got, because it's just all fabricated. Like we're only here because LeBron kind of forced the issue for us to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bronny probably shouldn't be on the NBA floor tonight for the Lakers, but he's going to be, and we're all going to watch because we're all just going to love to see what it looks like. And
it's NBA history.
I kind of think it's going to be a disaster, producer Corey. I don't think it's going to look good, but 7:00 tonight, I'll be flipping through the channels and I'll be like, you know what? We see some Bronny in action against the Timberwolves. So that's what we have from an NBA perspective. Again, the Suns get started tomorrow, take on the Clippers. We will get into all of that on tomorrow's show, but the NBA season does get started tonight. There was another NFL game last night as part of these ridiculous doubleheaders that the NFL likes to do. And it saw the Baltimore Ravens. We mentioned it when I said that they were the number 3 team in the NFL after week 7 of the season. They defeated the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 41-31. And the big takeaway from that game, other than how good the Baltimore Ravens are, Lamar Jackson, 285 yards, the 5 touchdowns, Derrick Henry, the 169 yards on the ground. But despite all of that, the takeaway from this game is the injury that was suffered by Chris Godwin. And the sheer devastation of it, that they did not show the broadcast. Like, they didn't show on the broadcast a replay of him suffering what Todd Bowles said afterwards was the early indications of a dislocated ankle. And they already lost Mike Evans during the game due to an injury. So it was the trifecta. You lose Evans to a hamstring, you lose Godwin to an ankle, and you lose the football game. Not great.
Yeah, what's left?
Yeah, not a lot left. And so for a team that people are really high on, myself included, you get dealt these injuries, you'll lose the football game. Just a tough way to end the week, tough way to start the week, a tough way to try to keep pace in the NFC. Now, the Falcons lost, so that's a good thing for them, and they play the Falcons next, so a divisional game coming up next for them, but just a huge blow for a team that I think we all thought could make some noise. Baker really seems to be coming into his own down there. The chemistry that he has with both Evans and Godwin is off the charts. They can score with the best of them. They have a defensive-minded coach, so you anticipate them being able to clamp down and shut teams down when they need to. They certainly didn't do that last night against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. But you can very easily buy into this team being able to make noise. And yet they lose this game. They give up the 41 points to Baltimore, and then they lose Godwin and Evans to injuries. Don't know how long Evans is going to be out for. A dislocated ankle, not great for Chris Godwin. And just, again, the trifecta of just huge blow after huge blow to a team that, unfortunately, I don't know if they're going to be able to get up off the mat if you don't have Godwin and Evans together for an extended period of time. Now, maybe you get active in the trade market. Wide receivers are available all over the place. We've already seen 2 wide receiver trades go down with Amari Cooper and Devontae Adams, so you can acquire players at that position. It's the one position that is most moved or most available, I think. And so there are options out there. It's just a question of what appetite does Tampa Bay have to give up draft capital to try to acquire a player to replace Chris Godwin. Zay Flowers left the game for Baltimore too. And that's on top of Brandon Ayuk tearing his ACL. Like, all of these injuries across the board, it's not fun when star players go down. This is why you watch football, to watch these athletes, to watch these explosive superstars make incredible plays. And in a span of 24 hours, Brandon Ayuk goes down, Chris Godwin goes down, Mike Evans gets hurt, Zay Flowers gets hurt. And you have all of these superstar players that are difference makers for their teams go down, changes the outlook of your entire season. I mean, it changes everything. One injury can completely derail you offensively. You lose your number one target. I mean, we've seen San Francisco has not been the same this year. They've had guys in and out with injury. They've had guys in and out with just not being able to stay on the field. And now they've got Ayuk out for the year with an ACL. They don't have George Kittle right now. He's kind of sidelined. Debo's in the hospital with pneumonia. They just got Ricky Pearsall back. Juwan Jennings is hurt. Like they've had so many things go against them. There's only so many things you can overcome. It's the same thing we're talking about with this Cardinals defense, is that there are only so many things that you can overcome from an injury perspective. At some point, you test your depth. Everybody's depth fails if it's tested too much. There is not a single team in sports, name the sport, name the team, name the franchise. Your depth can get tested to a point where it fails. No team is completely protected from an injury bug completely taking them out. Nobody is protected from that. You can't coach that. You can't game plan for that. And so, unfortunately, Tampa Bay, a team that is fun to watch, now has been dealt a huge blow, and we'll see what they do in the trade market to potentially get somebody in the building to help them. Now, speaking of wide receivers, I mean, I didn't know when I was going to get to this story. And when I saw it, it screamed to me, this is a perfect leftover story. And this is actually like the leftovers of the leftovers because we've only got like 2 minutes left. Jameson Williams, who came to the league and was hurt, got drafted by the Lions, who then got suspended for violating the NFL's gambling policy. So picked 12th overall in the 2022 draft, missed the first 11 games of his rookie season coming back from an ACL injury, plays the remainder of that year. The following year, suspended 4 games for violating the NFL's gambling policy, bet on non-NFL games at the team facility, was 6 games, but then it got dumped down to 4, was reinstated after that suspension. And now, yesterday, we learn suspended for 2 games, or is facing a 2-game suspension. I don't know if it's official yet, for violating the NFL's performance-enhancing substances policy. 23 years old, has been in the league for 3 seasons, has had 2 suspensions, and has missed 11 games with an ACL injury. This is a guy who brings a dynamic threat to this Lions team, the number 1 team in our lunch break power rankings, with Amon-Ra St. Brown, with Tim Patrick, with Sam Laporta, with Gibbs, with Montgomery, just another person, another player that opposing defenses have to account for. He is second on the Lions in receiving yards and touchdowns, only behind Amon-Ra St. Brown, and was that down the field threat for Jared Goff and Ben Johnson and this Lions offense. And so just a tough start to a career. And I don't worry about the team being able to deal with his absence. They're just a well-coached team. That culture is so good. Dan Campbell is going to be able to just say, hey, next man up. We got to move on. We got to continue to hit the pavement, work hard, continue to bring that lunch pail mentality. Like, he will have them locked in. That's not the concern. But you have a player who is a dynamic threat, who helps make the Lions better, and who has his entire career in front of him at 23 years old, and is part of one of the best teams in the NFL, and is having a statistically great season, and is a really important part of this team. And yet, over the course of the beginning of his career, he can't get on the field. Now, the injury is not his fault. The gambling, his fault. This potential suspension for performance-enhancing substances, his fault. And so that maturity isn't there yet. He has to be more mature as a wide receiver, because he has a golden opportunity here to have a great career on a great team and make a lot of money, because he's a good player. And it looks like they're going to be without him for the next 2 games after he faces that suspension. That's going to do it for another edition of the Lunch Break. Victory Tuesday edition. Got to wrap up week 7 of the NFL. We have a jam-packed show tomorrow. You're going to get my picks tomorrow. We're going to preview the matchup with the Dolphins tomorrow. We'll probably sneak in an off the fence tomorrow. So a jam-packed edition of the show. If you missed any of it, make sure you download the Lunch Break on your favorite podcasting app so you can listen to us. But that is going to do it for us here on another edition of the Lunch Break. Doug Gottlieb up next and Rich Eisen in the Sports Zoo with Rooster. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.